Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Bhagadan at Stock Market Caddy, and we're going to give you a little different view. And we're gonna try to construct some trades here in a moment or two. Maybe at the top of the hour, we'll give folks a chance to maybe find us. Pretty quiet. I know there's a lot going on in front of the Christmas holidays, but we do trade options, and we want to give a view on one of the ways, one of the things that you can do to try to finding putting on trades is easy. That's the easy part. Um, Finding the trades is the time consuming and the difficult part. And so we're going to show you how some of our members will, or hopefully all of our members, especially annual members, can go about finding some of the best option trade setups. Hang with us. Good morning, everyone. And we got ourselves a little bit of a sell-off here. We're gonna do some different things here toward the end of the year, during the holiday period to showcase and to do some different views. So as we'll wait. We didn't advertise. We don't really pay to advertise. So, we don't get thousands of people, and that's totally fine. We're going to show what we show. If it's just one person or if it's nobody, because also two people might come back at a later time and see. So in a moment or two, we're going to go about constructing some option trades and giving folks a view on how we do that. In the meantime, we are still short the market, namely the NASDAQ, as you can see right here. And we have 10 micro contracts on, and that's working out really, really well. But we're going to slide back to our YouTube view right here, and we're going to be using the Fairway radar on the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 to find some trade setups for options. So bear with us, and we'll go ahead and pick some of these. And now these won't be necessarily intraday trades. They will be trades going out about 30 days. And so you have to take a note and see how we do. And but also too, it can give you an idea of how to use some of these tools. So bear with us, and we'll be back in a little bit. Any questions, you let us know. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bagadon at Stock Market Caddy, and today is Monday, December 15th. And during the holiday period here, we're going to be experimenting and doing a few things to give some different looks. And one of the things that we're going to be doing, so you can kind of footnote this, and we'll continue to spread the word. And we don't really advertise, right? So we don't pay for ads. To speak of. Every once in a while, we might do a little something, but generally we don't. So it's really just word of mouth. But um, if we are going to go live, we're going to try to make it at noon of every day. Or not of it, excuse me. I don't want to say every day because I may not be able to commit to that. So I don't want to commit to anything that I can't deliver on. But um, when we do go live, we're going to try to make it easy on folks and try to do it at noon, and we'll try to do it as often as we can, and to try to showcase some different things, not just futures. Um, we love futures, and we think it's definitely something that for an active trader you want to be doing, or at least be exposed to. But we also trade options, and we do other things. So we're going to give folks a few minutes to punch up, and we're going to do these midday views for about an hour. And we'll do them if it's one person, if it's any number of people, because we don't know if folks will come back at a later date, and so we'll try to share some tips and also try to get some trades on the table. And maybe you want to write some of them down. I'm not suggesting that you do anything with your money, but maybe you want to write some of them down and see how we do. Um, the other thing that we hope to do, we will have a better view on this by the end of the week, is our live feeds that are going to be up for the better part of a day, if not longer. We hope to have that up on the website for annual members. And that view would include something like this, but it also may revert back to other things, whatever we happen to be looking at on this particular screen. Now we have multiple screens and multiple accounts, but let's go and take a peek here. So this is the what you normally are seeing, and we still have a 10 micros short the NQ, and that's what it's doing right here. So let's go back over here, and we'll wait a couple of minutes. But if anyone has any questions about who we are, what we're about, don't hesitate. And at around, we'll say at about 10 past, we'll give everybody 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to start scrutinizing the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 for option opportunities, and in particular using this tool that we call the SMC Fairway Radar. Bear with me. Okay, and we're actually even recording this as well. Um, I just want to say thank you for those that are here, and one person, thank you. One sicko out there during the Christmas season, buying and selling stock, you nasty. It was a good morning. We had a good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. So again, we will do these live sessions um, regardless, and also post them. So we're actually going to record this. So let's before we get to some option picks and how you might go about this, let's just take a real quick peek at the um, here are the futures, right? So and they're selling down a little bit, and here is our position, and we are short 10 micros, which is 1 mini. All right, so let's clear this off here, and so we got a clean deck. I'm going to erase this header. This tool, SMC Fairway Radar, can be a wonderful tool. I'm going to slide this over to let's look at the S&P 500 first. We got all S&P 500 stocks in here, and we call this the SMC Fairway Radar. What happens is this: we have all 500 loaded in, and here we have the pivot point. This is the daily uh, pivot point: R1, R2, R3, S1, S2, S3, and this is on a daily basis. If we wanted to do, let's see if we can do this here together. And we are recording, so let's go here. If we wanted to move this to a weekly view, which would be even more conservative, let's see if we can. Hopefully, I don't run into any kind of loading issues because I haven't done that. So I'm going to change the pivot calc from, no, excuse me, wrong, incorrect. Gonna leave it a classic. What I am going to do is change the interval. Sorry, the interval, all symbols. Let's see if we can pull up the weekly. Um, I may not even have to do that. Let's hold it for a minute. Let's hold it here. I wasn't expecting to go to the weekly, but the more I think about it, maybe we should. So I want to put our best foot forward. Da, 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 da. Yeah. All right, so we don't give it to you there. It's a little bit different on the radar, so we are going to have to try to load it in from here. And so let's go to the customize all symbols, and let's see if we can get the weekly in here. Gonna need a minute to load. There we go. Yeah, okay. And you can see we got different values here on a weekly basis, right? So this is Agilent. On a daily basis, it was at 140, the pivot point. On a weekly basis, it's at 141. Now, what I want to be doing is I want to be pulling together a list of stocks, and so let me get out a pad of paper here so that we can kind of jot down some ideas of what we can do. Now, if we're going to be doing options that are going to be going out for potentially for a few weeks, we're not trading them intraday. There's no super rush, right? We can get a list together, and that's what we're going to do. Maybe we place, we'll see what we place together, and let's make sure they're all populating. I don't have any memory issues, then I don't. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing. All right. So what happens is, let's we'll look at the first one. Apple's right underneath it. We have them sorted in alphabetical order, And the weekly pivot is 141.22, and she's trading at 140. So if she's trading between the S1 and the R1, she'll light up yellow. Now, what is the difference between the pivot point and the R1, R2? What are these R1, R2, R3s? The the formula looks at the previous week. It takes the high of the week, the low of the week, the close of the week, has a mathematical formula to it. It's not original to us. It isn't. Um, and it'll calculate what everyone or many folks will recognize as a pivot. And this is in a traditional sense. And it'll give us the pivot point. From there, there's a calculation that'll give us resistance 1, resistance 2, and even resistance 3. S1, support 1, S2, S3. So if the price is in between the S1 and the R1, this will get lit up yellow. If the price is between where it currently is, between the S2 and the S1, then the S1 gets lit up. If the price is between these two, that'll get lit up. And if the price is below the S3, that'll get lit up. So at a glance, we can look at 500 S&P stocks on a weekly basis without ever looking at a chart and getting a flavor for where we think we might be. This is on a weekly basis. So the idea might be, and let's look at something pretty popular. We look at Apple. Apple is trading at 274. That's amazing. 274, 76, 74. So she may oscillate right in front of our eyes. She's right underneath, right between the S1 and the pivot point. If she trades underneath, we might see this one light up. We'll see if it does. We'll keep an eye on it. If she drops below 274, 272, then this column here should light up. We'll see if it does, casually and on the S1. So the idea might be, if you are a yeah, she just oscillated there. Let's see it. There it is. All right, so she's trading underneath the S1 on a weekly basis. Apple is right here, and so she lights up green. And if she drops below 271.15, she'll light up green and down here. So what do we want to be thinking about doing is the question. And what we want to be thinking about, I'm going to get a marker here if you don't mind. Get a tool here, a drawing tool. I'm going to do something like this. When we're in the middle of the pivot, the price action can go either way. Either way. But as we get out here, particularly below the S2, when we get out here, we want to be thinking about buying when we're trading options. And the reason is that the probability, the likelihood that we're going to move back toward the pivot point is extremely high. Not a guarantee, but it's in the neighborhood of some 95%. It's very, very high. Where on this side of the ball, over here, we want to be thinking about doing what? Selling or fading. I guess sneeze. Sorry about that. wearing a mask. So we want to be thinking about coming back this way. So we want to play out here. We want to be thinking about buying out here. We want to be thinking about selling. All right, so let's clear that so we don't, we can come back. So when we see Apple, she just, let me just look here at, trading at 274. That don't look right here for a minute here. Hold on a moment. Hmm. That is not right. That is not right. That does not look. She's trading at 274. She should be way up in here, and she isn't. Hmm. I got a question on that. Um, let's look here. Maybe seeing real time. 130. Same thing. Huh. I am actually catching a an anomaly here, and not maybe not an anomaly, maybe an error. Um, they should be lighting up higher. Hmm. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to find that. Let's just double check here a few things. Let's take so she's trading at 274. We got this thing way way higher. And she is pulling back, so I don't like that at all. Um, wait a minute, wait a minute. My eyes deceiving me here. I'm sorry. I've had to make the type smaller so that it'll fit on the screen. So maybe I need to get my glasses on. Hold on. We're okay. Back up. I think we're okay. Let's um let's focus on Apple here for a minute because I had to make the type. Normally you can't see a difference on YouTube. Normally my type is at 18 for my big screens. But so that we can broadcast to YouTube in 1080p, in order to get this to fit, I have to make the screen smaller and the type or the font is down to 12. So I have to take a closer look at it. All right, so I wish I had a slide rule here. I wish TradeStation had a slide rule for the radar. Do they have a? I don't think they do. Let me just explore this with you. No, we don't have a drawing tool for the radar. All right, so let's focus on Apple here for a minute. Apple is trading at 274. Let's make sure this thing is doing, as with anything and everything from us, particularly, but it should be from everyone else too, or your own. You want to make sure that it's doing what you think it's doing, right? All right, so she's trading at 274. The pivot point, yeah, no. What is going on here? 277. Yeah, okay. Yes. All right. So she's trading 274 when she's above 274.72, which she is. I have to look at it. And in between the S1, actually between the S1 and the R1, she'll light up here in the pivot. And the pivot point is 277.37. Okay, all right, so there it is. So now she's trading at 274.70, and she was. When she drops below the S1, then the S1 column will light up. And she drops below this one, that'll light up. Drops below that, that'll light up. I'm sorry, my eyes were looking at this ABBV. um, if she trades above 280, 280, um, this will light up. If she trades above R2, 283, this will light up. And if she trades above 289, um, yeah, I have to really, my eyes. Maybe I wear my contacts. I wear glasses, um, which are fine, for with a larger font. But I should probably wear my contacts and wear my reading glasses with my contacts so I can make sure that I don't make that mistake. All right. So the idea would be is we want to on a weekly basis find stocks that are most overdone. We want to be buying off of support. So let's scroll down. Now at the moment we can't um, we can't scroll the red cells or the yellow cells. If we scroll it, what I mean by this is if I click on that, it scrolls the numbers, which doesn't do us any good. See, what I'd like to be able to do is scroll and have it scroll the background color. And at the moment, we don't know how to do that, and we're going to try to find out how to do that, right? So bear with us. But what we can do is scroll here and put them in alphabetical order. And then what we can do is, so when we're looking for opportunities to buy, let's see if there are any under the S3 column. The entire S&P 500, which kind of tells you, that the market is. So don't let me make you dizzy. All right, so here's one here. Um, the the S3 is 802. What in the world's going on with this thing, huh? What is that? Service Now. Service Now. So the S3 on a weekly basis is 802, 803. And this thing is trading down. Now, she may have had earnings. She is trading down. So I'm going to just get a buy list here put together. A buy list. And she's trading at now. Okay, and she's at, I'm just going to make a note at the S3. Below S3. Below S3. I'm not going to rush out to do it. I want to show you some other things that you can do. But let's scroll down and at least get maybe a list of things that we might look at. Okay, it's the only one of the entire S&P 500 in less than a minute or two. The only one that's trading below her weekly S3. I'm not going to short it here. I'm not. No. Um, I may not buy it, but one of the things that you could do, right? So if you're going to go into options, if we're and maybe we need to discuss this because I'm not sure that everyone knows, but let's get a list of stocks first, right? So here, this is the S3. So this one would be, I would consider, at least technically, from a pivot analysis, the most ripe to bounce. I'm not saying she's going back to 861, but she is very, very ripe for a bounce on a weekly basis. All right. Now, what about the S2? Now we want to be picky here, so I'm not going to go after the S1s, but S2s. So what do we got here? Do we have anything? All right, so we got something else in here. What is this? Um, CoStar? Never even. I don't know what they are for liquidity, but so this is the. Let me just make a note here. And this is what Susan and I will be doing constantly. and maybe I need to build some forms and build some um, a process here that we can even do it with y'all. And this is how we'll kind of learn how we can share this with some of the folks on YouTube. So I would be looking. I wouldn't want to be selling this. I wouldn't want to be shorting it. I'd want to be thinking about buying. Right now, you got time enough if you want to get in there. And it's like, hey, why is this thing getting hit so hard? Was it earnings? You can still take it and put it on a chart if you wanted to. And what we're going to be playing for would be um, the bounce. We scroll down, and then we got another one. This is interesting to me. This is Devon Energy. So I kind of like that one. Um, and it's DVN. So I'm making a list. DVN, Devon Industries. And let's keep coming down. And you can really get a feel. I'm not sure why that one's not public. Let's see if we can hit Control R. Nope, she's not populating there for some reason. Not sure why. We'll keep going. We got plenty. So you can kind of tell birds of a feather flock together. Um, what is getting hit? What has been hit, and it's the energy sector. Oxy, but that's where I want to be buying. That's where I want to be thinking about buying. And you can also tell that the entire S&P 500 is really, really extended because that's it. So those are the only stocks that I would even have an interest in getting long on options. That would be it. NOW, CSGP, DVN, and Oxy. And that would be over for like the next 30 days. Now, let's look at our sell list. What might we do here? So what we can do is we'll scroll down. We want to look at the R3. Now here, because the market's so extended, maybe we have more choice. It isn't a fair fight though. If you do 10 options, you probably always want to do more long, directionally long. Look at this. We don't have any in the R3. None on a weekly basis. None. All right, so the market may not be as extended. Let's come to the R2 and start developing a list. All right, so who is this? This is IT. This is the symbol for Gartner, the Gartner Group. IT. So we'll just put it over here. IT. And this is a potential sell. Here's another one. Oh, this is oh no, it's Philip Morris. Kind of tells you the market's kind of defensive, but PM. Philip Morris. And that's it. That's it. So we don't really have many, and that's fine. This is on the S&P 500. The bulk of the time, everything is going to be in the trading range. That's why we like to trade, right? Everything is between the S1 and the R1. When they get extremes, the sharks like us are going to come in and try to hit them. I'm not going to go down to the R1 or the S1. I mean, you could as you experiment. So now the question is, what do we do with that list? We want to get long. Um, and Apple. See, Apple is probably going to get she gets below 274. I mean, we could even put Apple in there potentially because it is Apple, right? And it's going to be always a following for Apple. There's always going to be people that want to buy Apple. And and so we can take a peek at that. All right, so we can do the same thing with the NASDAQ here in a moment. All right, so what do we do from here? Well, one of the things that we could do is, let's do this. Let's copy radar, copy window, and let's paste window. And I'm going to just delete all these symbols. And I want to put in, we had now, we have, this is on the, let me do it this way. This is a work in progress, folks, right? We're just doing it together. So these are potential longs. Sound good? Potential longs, stocks. And we're going to go with CSGP. And we got Devon. And we got Oxy. And we even got Apple. Now I don't want them on a 5-minute. So what I do want to look at them on is I'd like to see them all. Now we pick them. They are in a weekly setup. But let's put them on Swing Machine on a daily. All symbols. And there they are. So I would expect them to be trending down. Right? And Devon is just saying, well, on a daily, it's just a dip. It's just a dip. Right? The others are, in fact, trending down. And they are panic selling out. Right? So the likelihood is that these things are going to bounce. Right? They look pretty good. The ones that are probably best are probably Devon and I'm going to say Devon and probably Apple. All right, but let's go back here to the label row. And we'll put in potential shorts. And we only had something called IT. It's overdone. And Philip Morris. And that's what I would hope to see. And the one that's most attractive from a position to fade is this one. She's absolutely in euphoria. And that's what that's where we want to do it. So the question is, how do we want to trade this? How might we trade it? By the way, you know, the P&L is not calculating for stocks. I mean, if we were to, let me just do this. You don't have to, but if I was going to put false stocks in here and I wanted to calculate, you know, based on $25,000, then there you go, right? So if you had this in here on a daily basis, yeah, you could have saved yourself 15% if you sold it when it went short, or if you faded it, you know, you could have, right? And in IT, you know, if you had, let's see here. Well, that is kind of weird. As IT, that is very, very strange. We have a short signal on IT, yet it is in euphoria. That's very, very unusual. Same thing with Philip Morris. So they had to be screaming high. Let me go look at that for a minute. I want to get a beat on that. And it's okay, right? You got plenty of time if we're going to do some option work to look at these things. And I just want to see where these things are coming from. IT, because I'm not familiar with the stock. it's just that bounce. It's just, she was in a downtrend and in a bearish move, and it's just a significant bounce. That's all that's done it. All right. Um, boy, that is, yeah. Huh. Boy, that sucker has really got smoked. Abby. Is that Abby or Ted? Ted, don't hit my elbow. People think I got the shakes here. The dogs hit my elbows. All right, so this would be one way to look at it. Um, for me, I would think, and we're not trying to get a ton on, but these would be the potential longs that I would be looking at. These would be the potential shorts. I think IT might be the better one. Philip Morris, you might want to even get a look at. If we're gonna go long um, for 30 days, and we're gonna use options, we got a couple of ways to go. We could, if we want to get long, we could buy a call. What is going on with my phone? That would be one way to get long. Another way to get long would be to sell a put. It's a marginable event. It's a marginable event. So what we could do is sell a put, receive a credit, and then to define our risk, buy a put, which is a put credit spread. So the trades that I would be looking at, maybe we'll just do it on paper here. Let me pull up our, because I don't want to take the time. I'm going to pull up Apple on our option chain. We'll start with Apple. And we want to go about 32 days out. So Apple is trading at 274, 275. So what we might want to do is Apple, do it this way. And we'll do it at 275. The date is January 16th. Oh, shoot. I just messed up here. January 16. And we're just going to buy a call. And it's going to cost us, for that call, we'll give the highest price, $715 for 100 shares. 715 bucks. And that's what I'll hand off to Susie, right? And she'll scrutinize them. She'll give it a look. Just to keep this simple now, Devon would be next up. I would like Devon and Oxy. The Now thing, how liquid that is. Let's take a look at Now. Same thing. We go out to January 16th, and she's trading at 771, 770, is $2,800. I don't think I want to do that. So what we could do is if we want to get long on a put, we could we could um, do now this way. We could sell a put. Let me just do the math here. Bear with me. If we were to sell a 770 put, we could even go, even if we're a little bit concerned, that's pretty pricey, which is good, right? If we want to sell. So let me just get a calculator here. Now you might want to do it differently, obviously, right? Um, if we sell a 760, they're going to pay us about 24 bucks is what Susie will be trying to get for it. $24. And then what we could do is go down and buy a 710. So we sell the 760 and we buy the 710. It's going to cost us about, I'm going to round this off to about 10 bucks. So our credit would be 14, about 1400. And I like that. Maybe you want to go down further, right? Maybe you want to sell. Yeah, I mean, you could do this, right? I mean, you could sell a 710 and buy a 670, and go downstream. I mean, and you really do put the probabilities on your side. Um, but I'm going to come in here and we're going to sell what did I just say? A 770. She's trading at 770. So we're going to do a 770. And then we're going to get a 710. This is a put spread for January 16. And the credit is approximately 1400. Now, it's thinly traded, so I would have to give this, and I will, to Susie, and she'll try to get us the best price. Now, she may choose to play it even more conservative and go down. This would be we sell the put at 770, we buy the put at 710, receive a credit for 1400, and let the time decay to us. With Devon and Oxy, I think I would just want to come in and get calls. So let's go get Devon. She's trading at 36. So if we go to January 16th, we're going to do the same thing here. We could buy a call, and it costs us 215. So I'm just gonna bump this up here. We're gonna go DVN. I'll put it up here. DVN at 35. We could go, yeah, we'll do it at 35. At 35, January 16th, and the cost is $215. One contract. And then Oxy, that in there. OXY. And she's trading at 40. So I want to buy a call at 40. That's pretty cool. She's trading at, that's really cheap. For money wise, it's only a buck 36. So we're going to do it at 40. Oops, sorry. At 40, January 16th, and the cost is approximately 136 bucks. Is the idea. So this is our maximum risk to get long Oxy at 40. She's currently trading at, yep. And then Devon, 215. And Apple, just getting along Apple at 275, right where she is, for 715 bucks. I like that one. Probably like that one. I like that. And then now we want to be long, but they're very pricey. Like to get a call at the money on this thing is like 3 grand. I don't want to do that. So we'll sell a 770, buy a 710 put. We're directionally long. January 16th, we get a credit of 1400 and let it accrue. Over here, if we're going to get short something, we can get short by selling. I'm sorry, we can actually, but we can buy a put. We could do that. Or we could sell a call and then buy a call. If we wanted to get short. And maybe I should draw a line down here. So what are the potential shorts? Are Philip Morris and this thing IT. It's a big, really big bounce. Probably go look at Philip Morris PM. Not going to make a ton here. You're not. I don't think so. And you want to double check with earnings. She's trading at 159. So if I buy a put, just flat out buy a put, it's going to cost me 590 bucks. So we'll go ahead and you guys can jot these down, see how we do. If anybody's interested, I'm going to give them over to Susie. She may place some. She may place, she's going to put them through her own. She may maneuver them. But I don't want to be just giving out, specific trades when it comes to options because it can get hairy and we can adjust them. But I want to just share with you how our members can use these tools to, and let's, I'm sorry, I'm looking for my drawing tool. So we're going to put this one, we'll keep this in red. So that's going to be PM, Philip Morris, and we're going to get a put at, trading at 160, at 160, and the date is January 16th. The idea. And the cost is, worst case, $580. It's the most we can lose, but we're directionally short. We need that bitch to come in. But Don, it's on an update. Yeah, that's exactly when we might want to do it. Would be the idea. And so we have, 1, 2, 3, 4 options directionally long, and we have one just short. And I'm totally okay with that. It's an idea. Now let me slide back and see if we have anybody still here from YouTube. So a little bit different. Um, and I'm not going to place these because we do this all the time. I don't want to get in a position where we're just handing out specific fish. But you get the idea, and you might go and look at them yourself and decide, hey, you know what? I want to do I think if you do more put credit spreads and call credit spreads, you're going to be much more successful over time. It's going to be super boring, which is good. You don't have to be glued to the screen. The money is going to accrue to you. So Susie might take these and she might put, even put credit spreads on Apple. And she might even do it, she might sell a put at 270 and go down to, and buy a put at at 265, something like that. A very highly probable outcome, and and boring. And you just keep doing them and just stay active and try to keep, X number of options on that your account can handle, and don't get overweighted. Don't put the whole account on one thing, and just stay balanced and let it accrue. Does that make sense? Um, Now I'm going to go back to the other screen if anybody's got any questions on what we just did and why and how we got them. Okay, as an example, it's just a very small snippet. Now we have another tool which we'll showcase on another day that can really help, and Susan will use that, and our annual members will use that, and that's the Options Club Selector. Could have placed these in here and further refined whether or not it should have been a call or a put, and I'll save that for another day. All right, so I'm going to clear this if you don't mind, unless there's any questions. If anybody wants, for today, at this moment in time, on December 15th at 1 p.m. on the S&P 500, these at least these are the stocks that we would be looking at. These are the stocks. And we didn't get them from Swing Machine. We plugged them in as a glimpse. If we're going to be buying, options or getting long options, we would ideally want to see them red and over here. That's what we would want to see. When we are trading options, we're going after counter trends. And then the potential shorts here. I'm just not sure what's going on with this IT here. There was a big bounce, so I opted. I probably wouldn't. And if I get when we're screening for options, if there's any kind of a stock that's giving me like, it just doesn't look right, it's too thin, just get rid of it. There's tons of them, right? But this is where we'd be looking. So I will give this list to Susan, then she'll take it this afternoon and she'll look, and she may do the same thing or try to get us the best price. But I'm going to erase this, and then let me go back and show you again where they came from, and then we can even go look at the Nasdaq, and I'll just give them some ideas out. And that's what we want to do as we try to showcase some of the tools. So let's go back here to this is where they came from, right? So we're getting Apple down here. You want to be a buyer over on this side of the ball, and maybe a sell. And this is set at a weekly view, right? And the thing of it is, 99% of all retail traders, they're not looking at weekly, and they should be if they're using options. Slow it all down. Get the most extreme. You get the bounces. We want to, you have a very high probability. So we're recording this too, by the way, and so we'll come back and see how we do. We'll have it recorded on screen. Now let's come over to the NASDAQ 100. All right, so this is the daily view. All right, so this is going to be much more active and more noisy, and there's plenty. You can be as active as you want to be, but I don't want to be here. I want to give out, some more, slow everything way down. So the way to slow this down is to come in and put all symbols on a weekly view. And there they are. And so some of the symbols are going to be the same, but there's only 100. Let's make sure we're not messing up our memory, and we're not. All right. All right. So once again, Apple's Apple shows up in a couple here. But so in the S3 on the NASDAQ 100, what might we be looking to get long on? Anything? Nothing. There's nothing down there on the S3. On the S2, it's this one. This is that CoStar, CSGP, right? So that one is likely to give us a bounce. Now, if you don't like the looks of it, again, you don't have to go buy the call right at the money. You could do what? You could sell a put at 60 and buy a put at 55 and just let the thing accrue to you. Because the likelihood is that it's going to move back towards 67. And let's scroll down and see if there's any more. That's it. There's not much there. And the reason, there's one more. Oh, okay, this is Workday. Same thing. She's at 217. You could get a call on it, or you could buy a call and sell a call higher, or a more highly probable outcome would be what you could do, what Susan might do on something like this. She might sell the 210 and buy the 200. Sell the 210 put and buy the 200 put and just call it a day. You got to use limit orders here, folks, though, right? Because these options may not be terribly liquid, and you got to get your price. You don't want to get glommed. Here is Tesla, by the way. Where is Tesla? Tesla's, up here. She's hitting R1. I don't want to buy it up here. I absolutely don't, on a weekly basis. So what you could do here is you could sell a call at 480. You could. And buy a call, I get 500, something along those lines. Or sell the call at 500, buy a call at 515, and then just forget about it, and define your risk, and but I have to price Susie will have to price that out. But this is where you would get them. But I wouldn't want to be buying Tesla up in here. I'd want to probably be selling it. And if I want to be selling it, maybe you take Tesla, for instance. You could do this, right? And if you have your, let's just take these off here for a minute. And you put Tesla, whoops, what did I just do? I want to delete all this. Can I do this? Yeah. Oh, I see, I couldn't. And, so you have an interest, you get biased by that, by the Fairway Radar, and you say, okay, I'm interested in selling Tesla. I get it. Everyone's buying Tesla. Look where it is on a daily. I get it. But I'm thinking I want to be selling it. So maybe we get inside the daily. We drop down to the hour, and she's still long on the hour. So I'd probably wait. I don't think she's done going up yet. I think it's a little too early, But but she is getting up here, even on a daily basis. I mean, can she get into euphoria? Yeah, I mean that might be that that 480 mark or that 500 mark, you know. But of course, Tesla is pretty liquid, and you want to come in and get cute with a 5 minute. You probably could. She's still long. This was 84 5 minute segments. All right. So, any case, we're not intraday trading this. This is more options. All right. So on the short side, let's come over here on the NASDAQ. Do we have anything on a weekly above the R3? Nothing. Nothing, right? So this, you want to check them. You want to keep, checking them. And what about the R2? Now, you remember, don't sort because they just sort the numbers. We'll try to work on a sorter that we can sort the colors and bring them all up here so they could just be sorting for you. Otherwise, you gotta manually scroll down. Do we have anything on the R2? Well, that's pretty wild. We got nothing on the R2. So the other one, though, so the only ones that I'd be interested in maybe fading would be Booking, but that's like $5,000 stock, very expensive. You know, you'd probably want to sell a call like at 6,000, and buy one at 6,500, but probably don't want to mess with that. But this is Comcast here, and she's trading at 28. See, she's trading at 28.13, so she's in between. So this one lights up. So she's very close here. You know, maybe what you could do is sell a call at 30 and buy a call at 32, and for that time and just let the money accrue to you. You know, something super boring, and just let the money accrue. And you just stay active and just get in the groove of doing this. All right, so this is on a weekly basis. This is Clack. She's trading at 1237, 1279. Could she get up here? I mean, she could. I mean, what you could also do here is she's trading at 1237. You know, I mean, you could sell a 1300 call and buy a 1350 call, something like that, potentially. This is Marriott. I don't understand what's going on with Marriott. I mean, Marriott is like just been a horse of a stock. So she's trading at 306. I don't want to buy it at 306. I don't want to go long. You could, what I'd probably do is sell a call at 315 and look to buy a call at like 325 or something like that, for that same time frame. Just make sure you don't have earnings. And then we got Tesla. So, if you want to get short, you know, again, it's Tesla though, the bitch can run. But, one way of going is, selling the call, sell the call at 480 and buy a call at 500, something like that, and let the bitch come in. Sound okay? All right. This is one of the tools and one of the ways that we go about getting our options. And what I wanted to just convey to you is that you can still take some of these opportunities, copy them, plug them into Swing Machine. Don't look at them from the standpoint of, getting on the trend. Don't, but use the euphoria and the panic, at least on a daily. You're not looking for the weekly trend or the daily trend. But if you're trying to finesse a move down, so for instance, like on Clack, I'm thinking like I want to sell it. So I'm like, okay, I get it, 70 days all up, but I want to get on this thing. So I drop down to a 60-minute, and she's still long. She's underwater a little bit, but but maybe if she starts to fail up in here, then I finesse or ask Susie to finesse getting the directionally short option on. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right. So I guess, but what we're trying to convey is we have a number of tools. Some say too many, but I can't help it because we keep getting really, really, really good questions from all of our members for this, for that, and so we're going to continue to do that. But you can, kind of mix and match, provided you have the skill set. So like if we're talking about options, and you don't yet understand what the difference between a call and a put is, or what the difference between a put credit spread and um, a call debit spread, or vice versa. um, you just have to learn. You just have to commit. And the best way to learn is to set out and do it, and even do it in simulation, and just take time. Now, the learning curve for options, it isn't that they're easier. They just don't call for the way that we trade options. They don't call for a whole lot of maintenance, and you got to stay active. But we're not actively trading them, and you just got to stay patient. And then they take longer. I guess the learning curve takes longer because they take weeks to play out. But there's definitely something that we're doing all the time, and Susan will be looking at those. All right, so let's slide over and see what the overall market is doing. So the overall market is still selling down here. We don't have all of our addressing here, but you can see we're still short the micros right here. But all right, so we've been up for an hour, and we wanted to chat about options and give you a view and show you the fairway radar. Now, this fairway radar in these price points can be put onto a chart, and you can get the daily pivots, you can get the weekly pivots, you can get the monthly pivots. I mean, you can, and you can get lines on the chart, and we do have now the beta strategy that can actually trade those pivot points, all of them, on any kind of chart, not just an intraday minute chart, but an intraday Renko chart or an intraday point and figure chart. So do know that. Um, and very, 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 very powerful. But as you can see, they're really, when we set out to do this, we only had, less than 10 opportunities, option opportunities at this point in time on this day. And when I give them to Susan, I don't know, she might get 4 or 5 of them before the end of the day. She's not going to get them all. She won't get them all. And she's going to kind of tweak them. And she understands the use of delta on the option chain to put a greater probability on our side. Susan loves to sell put credit spreads and sell call credit spreads. Because why? Because they're highly probable payouts, and just boring. There's nothing to do. You just put them on and just keep rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Okay, I'm gonna slide back. I think we were here. We're gonna save this little video so we got it for posterity. I hope you wrote down those trades on paper, and let me know in the days ahead if anybody took any of them, maybe reshape them, reposition them a little bit, and let me know how you do. And we'll periodically try to come in and do this here. No, I won't mess with that now. And try to help you out. All right, everybody. With that, we're going to say thanks for stopping by. And if any annual members are here, we do hope. Whoops, let's get gold back over here. Let's put this back to a 5-minute. Continuing to run it. And we are working on trying to get the live a live view, how best to deliver a live view for a much longer period of a day, hopefully the whole day, up on our website. So we'll keep you posted there. And we did hear from the CME, and we did finish officially number six last week. So I hope I didn't annoy anybody. We were excited about it. We did better than our best finish before was number seven, and we just ran out of time. I don't think I could have caught number one on Friday. We probably should have caught him during the week. We should have done. We could have, should have. We made a little video of our strategy and our approach on that, and maybe we should step it up a little bit to see if we can win the thing. Looking back last week, buying gold and silver in front of the Fed was a no-brainer. Should have done it, um, and then look to sell it off on Friday. But there'll be another. Trust me, there'll be another Fed meeting. All right. Good night, everybody, or good night. Good day, everybody. Good night. And let me know if you have any questions. Okay. I'll wait a few minutes and then we're going to sign off. Any questions on those option trades, let us know, or let me know now, and I'll try to answer. And I'll just continue. You're going to hear me repeat this as various people may, float by either now or even later. When we do our live sessions here, we're going to try to do it around the noon hour, like about quarter of 12 to 1, somewhere around there when we do it. I can't commit to doing it every day um, because we just can't yet. And I don't know if I ever will be able to do that. But if we do come up, that's for sure that's where we'll, if we're up, the middle part of the day, that's when we can be punching up. And um, and uh, so we'll try to, and what we're going to try to do is showcase different tools, different approaches, um, options, futures, some stocks. Try to mix it up a little bit and give you a different view. Thanks, everybody. When we look at Swing Machine here, shut down that other video. Oops, that's um, that's our recording. The ES went short at 940. It's still short. It's ripping against it. You'd be up 1400. 940, 940, 3 grand. 935, 1100, 935, 1100. I mean, it's virtually the same. I mean, you can almost set your watch. 940, 940, 935, 935. What the hell is with that, bagger? Yeah, it's crooked. It's rigged. Sure it is. Just stay on the side that's rigged, and Swing Machine and these tools help us to do that. Swing Machine is what put us in position last week to finish number six out of 2,300 people. Now we were fortunate. I mean, we covered up a lot of ground in that last day, but it was Swing Machine that we were doing it, and we dropped it down on the last day. We dropped it down to a shorter time frame and became much more active. And I think we missed the fifth position by $9, $9, and somehow or another we had an issue. We couldn't get into the CME site for 30 minutes on the last hour. That kind of ticked me off because we had worked hard, and I would have easily been in number five. I don't think I could have. I couldn't have caught number one. But we were $7,000 or $8,000 from number two, and there was a chance that maybe we caught him. But yeah, so in any case, there was a pebble in my golf shoe, and that's why I, hit the putt the way I hit the putt. We lipped out at number six, still pretty good. So that's our best showing. We had one where we finished number seven. We were number two that morning, but finished number seven. We had another one where we finished 20, And all the others, we were in the top 5 or 10%. And I do think we had one of those CME sessions where we were negative, and we just, let it go. And I can make all kinds of excuses, but we had no, that week was just a bad week. They're going to do them every month. I'm probably not going to enter every single one because they do take time, and but we are going to try to win one of those things for sure. All right, everybody. I wish you the best. Let's take a look. Oops, Ted. Ted, you keep hitting my. I got to take Ted out. He's got to go.